You're watching the Entrepreneurial SME, and if you've just joined us, we're taking a look at digital solutions and innovation for SMEs with my expert guests, Randall Abrahams and Tshepo Phetla from Telkom. Randall, I interrupted you, but I wanted to speak about some of the misconceptions. We know cost is one of them. People think it's going to be so expensive, but there should be other misconceptions about digitization.
So Tshepo mentioned earlier that the first thing that you should look at is getting your books in order. If your books are in order, you're not going to have any run-ins with the regulator. You're certainly going to be able to have a conversation with your bank manager that much easier. And when you have to scale your business and you're out looking for investors, there are the books. Get your accountant, put everything together, you're good.
Yes.
So that really has got to be at the top of the list. But what follows from them is, and this is the misconception, is if I outsource it to someone, I really don't have to get involved. IT, they'll kind of take care of it. It's like HR. Well, no, not really, because you know your business better than anybody else does. You've interviewed millions of, SMEs, different entrepreneurs, different spaces, people are in IT, people are in jewelry, and they really are passionate about their business.
Yes.
They care about their business. They care about the people who work with them, and they have. Some of the people who work with them, they know them personally, etc., etc. So they really are deeply ingrained in that business, and only they can say, in this kind of priority set of needs, what comes second, third, and fourth. I think we all need to agree that, well, the first thing, you need mobile or fiber broadband. You actually need to be in the digital world. But after that, as a product, looking after your books, I think is absolutely essential.
But that product, looking after my books, don't I tend to feel like Big Brother is watching me? I'm putting my secrets into this thing that somebody's
certainly not. I can assure you that those products are very, very carefully controlled in terms of compliance and POPIA, specifically because that's going to end up with SARS ultimately, right? So there's the top products are very, very carefully laid out and protected in the cloud.
Yes.
But let me talk about, as I say, this kind of hierarchy of needs. What comes second, third, and fourth is ultimately up to the business owner. The business owner has to give input and direction into which products are most important. So, for example, someone who's making jewelry, customer relationship management may actually be top of their list. They need to know what their customers own. They need to know what they've bought. They don't want to go and market something to the same person again. They need to keep the person close to them. I'm having a show, I'm having an expo, I'm now available at the store, etc., etc. So it may be that that's number 2, and actually they've got such a small team, HR is kind of number 3 in the line. And that's the input that small business owners need to give when it comes to IT.
Tshepo, the other thing about technology is that, then I tend to worry, do I have the necessary skills to do this? There are issues of regulation and compliance, and then there are issues of technology ever evolving. Do I now keep on having to come back and learn some more to understand how to use these tools?
There's no question about constantly keeping up with developments in technology. I think you should, as an entrepreneur, not look at that as a burden, but as a continuous, sharpening of the sword on your part. It is not as scary as it sounds. It does really take up a lot of your time. Most of the technology evolution we've seen have been systematic, but the basic functions that the technology is providing, the underlying functions are still remaining the same. There's perhaps added, additional features that are there to make life easier, and it's about learning what those features are and how you can exploit them better. I don't think it's a change that is radical in nature, that it will be very disruptive to your business. When such kind of changes happen, together with our partners, we do then take our SMEs through those kind of changes to say, hey, what you've bought last year, here's some additional features that this thing is now coming up with. It could be benefiting you in this way. And it does mean that you should embrace change. The ever-changing technological landscape is something we cannot ignore, but it's also not something we should be scared of. It really shouldn't be a threat to business. an important evolution, I believe.
So before we went on air, Randall whispered something in my ear, but age has caught up with me. But it has to do with future something, a product, a service that you guys are up to. Please tell us about that product.
Yes, at Telkom, we're future makers. Telkom Future Makers is our enterprise and supply development. We run, a variety of programs to support up and coming SMEs and also startups in the ICT sector. And we run a number of programs starting from, supporting the ideation stage into the accelerators and incubators, as well as those that make it into our supply chains. We have a supplier development program as well. So
I'm going to interrupt you.
Our investment.
How does one get into that program?
So depending on a particular program that we're launching, we make a call for applications, and we then assess the applications. Then if you're successful, then you get onboarded. Some of the programs don't necessarily go like that. We are reachable. We do, assess unsolicited, proposals to see if there is a strategic fit to the Telkom strategy, and if we find that there is an SME who's innovating and their innovation could be value adding to us as a business in the future, we then consider those kind of innovation, because our ESD at Telkom is innovation driven, as well as trying to transform the ICT sector through the development of black-owned SMEs, that is QSEs and EMEs alike.
On that note of all those beautiful acronyms, unfortunately, gentlemen, we've run out of time. 15 minutes is never enough to deal with this thing, but I think you've opened my eyes to a lot of things, and thank you very much to the both of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the Entrepreneurial SME from me, Rams Mabote. Good night, and God bless.